Here we are again. You found your way back to part 3 of the presentation, You're on LinkedIn, Now What? In this presentation, we're going to talk mostly about photographs and how to do them well. So we were talking about the ways to make a strong LinkedIn profile, a strong resume on LinkedIn. And the chief way to do that is to start with your photograph. You must include a photograph of you, a clear, decent photograph of your face. That's what we covered briefly. Now let's look at some examples, both good and bad. First, some things not to do. Don't do this. Do not be holding a drink. Also, no birthday hats, bridesmaids' dresses, pretty flowers, spouses, or best female friends. Next, don't do this. One could take a quick glance at this person and think she's not wearing any clothes. She is, of course. She's got an evening gown on, and she used that classic mistake of, I'm dressed up, I look really good, this is the photo I'm going to use. No, you want to think professional in a professional setting. On LinkedIn, the saying is, if you don't use a photograph, you don't exist. Really, that's true. Here's what it looks like. It's in the upper left. That's what you will come off as. You really want to use a photograph and a good one. In the middle, another example of a bad one. Too far away, the guy's wearing dark glasses and he's in kind of shady circumstances. I don't know what he does for a living. Well, I do. In real life, he's a history professor. Here, he looks like a criminal, doesn't he? This may not be the best representation of the lower right, but this was a sort of great photograph, but it was sort of boring and also fuzzy. It was not clear, not a sharp photograph. So let's look at some more examples. Here's the way your contacts on LinkedIn will be presented to you in a certain section of your LinkedIn profile. Of these, what do you like? Just take a squint at them and tell me what stands out. You'll be able to tell when in due course which ones you like, which ones you think work, and which ones don't. Of course, there at the upper left, there's one that doesn't exist. Right next to that, the first row, second from the left, somebody has chosen to use their building rather than their face. Not recommended. Here's just another snapshot of some of my contacts. Again, squint at it. When you squint, one of these will pop out as the best. Then that's your cue to model yourself after that. Others will pop out as not great. Here's a great example from my friend Ian Aldrich at Yankee Magazine. It's clear, he's smiling. It's interesting because it's a little off center and interesting light. This would be a great model for you to follow for your photograph. Here's another great example from my friend Lisa Murray. Here it stands out because it's black and white, so therefore it's a little bit out of the norm, but still very professional. You look at this and get a warm, fuzzy feeling. She's smiling. It's a very clear, straight-on picture of her face. Here's a snapshot of more people I follow on LinkedIn. They are people, yet 2 out of the 3 have their logos instead of their face attached to their name. I don't recommend logos. There's a whole place on LinkedIn where you can create a company page, which I'm not going to get into here. That's the place for your logos. Always use your face. Always, always. All right, let's take one last look at a page of my contacts. Which do you like? Which stand out? Which stand out for good reasons and which stand out for bad? On the lower left, you might be confused by it's a profile of a man, and in front of him is a blue ticker, much like what you see on the news. I could say that that would be wrong, except that ticker is telling people looking at his profile that he appears on the news quite often as an expert in his field. That was a little bit of brilliant branding on Mike's part. Now we're going to end right here, and I want you to click through back to YouTube and find part 4, the last part of my seminar on LinkedIn.